Hi there BookTube and welcome to a new video. I'm going to talk about my plans for the Reading Women month, which is hosted by Kendra Winchester. I was inspired to it by a mixture of Brian at Bookish, his video announcing his TBR intentions, and Sean the Bookmaniac's rather disastrous page 112 tag for six books he'd intended to read for the Asian Readathon. And I'm afraid, while I had the freedom, obviously, to pick my own books from, sorry, not the Asian, the Middle East, while I had my own freedom to pick books from the Middle East, and I read two very good Iraqi novels last year, Sean's experiences rather put me off, and because they coincide, I've plugged for the Reading Women Readathon. So just to give you an idea, as of today, the 1st of June, I've read just under 40% of the fiction I've read this year has been by women. I think it's about 38%, which means what, 62% by men, is that right? Yeah. The two best books I've read this year so far have been by women, and the top five, there's probably another one or two, I'd say. Unfortunately, the two worst books I've read this year have also been by women. Anyway, so I'm currently reading a non-fiction book, which is my priority to finish. But then I've got this sort of wodge of books on the bingo scorecard that Kendra has produced. Which is going to be my attention. So just going through them one by one. So Aussie author struck out, I'm afraid, because I only reacted to this today, Saturday the 1st of June. I'm only going to go with books that are on my shelves to be read. So Aussie author, female Aussie author, I struck out, I'm afraid. In translation, well, this will be my second Clarice Lispector read of the year and my fourth in all. This is A Breath of Life, which I think was her last one. Yeah, her last one. I love Clarice Lispector. My top read of the year so far was her book, The Passion of Gordon's G8. So I have high hopes for this. I just expect this to be brilliant. About food, well, no, I've got nothing for that, I'm afraid. Essays. So, The Condition of Secrecy by Inger Christiansen, a Danish author. This is a book of essays, a lot about sort of poetry and being a poet and the relationship of sort of the sublime and unknown to the processes of writing. Rural setting, no, I'm urban, I'm afraid. I can't imagine I'd ever sit down to read a book by a man or a woman, which is just about the countryside. Short stories, well, I'm afraid I'm off short stories. If you don't count Dubravka Ugresich's In the Jaws of Life, which were really sort of three novellas rather than short stories, because they were all sort of, two of them were 100 pages long. I haven't read any short stories this year. I got badly burned in my experiences last year. So if I can, I'm going to substitute poetry. And I'm going to read Erica Dawson, When Rap Spoke Straight to God. Looking forward to that. Memoir by a woman of colour. I don't read memoirs, I'm afraid. Beach read. Well, I don't have holidays, I write instead, so I don't have a beach read. And when I did used to take holidays, and if it was like 1 or 2 weeks, I would pack 9 books in a suitcase and read them all by the side of the swimming pool rather than the beach. But the fact that it was beach didn't make it, I read Will Sell, for example, around hotel swimming pools, and that's not what most people associate with beach reads. It tends to be slightly sort of more easy reading, so I don't really have a concept of beach read. LGBTQ, I don't have anything that I'm aware of, but I need to do some research in case some of the authors who are sat on my shelves are LGBTQ, so I'm not ruling that one out, but at the moment I haven't got anything for it. True crime, no, I do read true crime, but I'm really not in the mood for making a space for one. Summer read, again, like beach read. I don't have a concept of summer read. I'll read whatever book I would normally read any other time of the year. Muslim author, Lullaby by Leila Slimani, a French author of, I think, Moroccan descent. Looking forward to that. Free Space. Okay, so for that I've gone with No Bones by Anna Burns. Anna Burns, who won last year's Man Booker with Milkman, which was my number 2 read of all books last year. This is an earlier book by her. So I've had it as soon as I'd finished Milkman, I bought this. So that would have been around September, October last year. And it's been sat on my to be read pile because I don't like to read authors in the same year. Clarice Lispector accepted. So, you know, I read her last year, so I'm ready to read this. Kiddie lit, no, sorry. Romance novel, again, no, sorry, not my genre. Road trip. I believe this is a road trip. The Lost Children Archive by Valeria Luiselli. I was hoping to read this for the Women's Prize for Fiction, but it didn't make the shortlist. So that sort of took the edge off. I didn't have a deadline to read it by. But, you know, I've read Luiselli before. I like her work very much. So I was slightly daunted by the size of this, but other booktubers said, actually, you can breeze through it quite quickly. So don't be put off by it. So that's my road trip book. Mental health. I haven't got anything. Also, I'm assuming that's specifically non-fiction. Plenty of fiction with mental health as a theme. So I haven't got anything for that. Graphic novel, no, sorry. Asian author, no. Haven't got anything for Asian author. I did read Lien Lee earlier this year and loved it, but I have nothing else by her. Borrowed book, I'm just going to pass because I haven't got any. YA by Women of Colour, well, I don't read YA at all, so no. Beautiful cover, does not compute, it's not why I buy books. On feminism, I haven't got anything. Reread a favourite, I haven't got time to reread, I'm afraid. Mystery, so for mystery I've gone for The Bird Tribunal by Agnes Ravtan, who's a Norwegian writer. This book was brought for you by Celia and Elizabeth, two booktubers I'm sure you're all familiar with, when we met up in London in February, and they bought this as a present for me, which is very nice of them. So, I've got, what, 6, 7 books in all? 7. And none of them are very long except that. No Bones by Anna Burns. Looks a bit of a... yeah, it's about 300 pages. But I should be able to do all of those within the month. I don't know if I'm going to sort of, you know, intromit other books. As I say, I mean, I might find a couple more titles. I might find an LGBTQ, an Asian author. So this is a bingo card with these different categories, and I'm just seeing if I've got a line anywhere. I doubt it very much. So I've got 2 on the first line, 1 on the second line, 2 on the third line, which has the free space, so everyone should have reasonable ones of those. 1 on the fourth line, and 1 on the fifth line, and going down 1, 2, no, 2. No, it doesn't look like I've got any bingo lines going down either. There's one other book I just want to bring up. Which is this, by a Afro-Caribbean British author called Temi O. It's Do You Dream of Terra 2? It's science fiction, but unfortunately, I don't know why I'm looking at this, I should be looking at the camera. Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Temi O. Unfortunately, I couldn't really see if it fit in any of the categories. Beautiful cover? Maybe, I mean, you know. So that would be my 8th book if I sort of felt I had time to do it. So there you have it. That is my intended TBR for the Reading Women Readathon. Valeria Luiselli, the Lost Children Archive, Anna Burns, no bones, hard to say. The Bird Tribunal by Agnes Ravtan. Celia or Elizabeth, please correct me on my pronunciation. A Lullaby by Leila Slimani. Cheating, not doing short stories, doing poetry. Erica Dawson, When Rap Spoke Straight to God. Essays is Inga Christiansen, The Condition of Secrecy. In translations, Clarice Lispector, The Breath of Life. And if I could figure out which category to wedge this into, Temi O, Do You Believe in Terra 2? Okay, so wish me luck. Thanks very much. Till next time.